Everybody, you have about 30 seconds before I hit the gavel. Okay, ready? Good morning, everyone. The August 21st, 2024 meeting of the City Council is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being video recorded as well as presented live on KCLV, Cable Channel 2. You may also watch the meeting live on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and the Go Vegas app. City Council meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, may be viewed on the internet at www.kclv.tv/live. The proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2, the web, the Wednesday, the meeting, 8 p.m., also Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 5 p.m. This building is protected by state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler systems. If alarms should activate during our meeting, please evacuate using the exit at the back of the chambers, go out to the mezzanine, proceed out the double doors to the terrace, and go down the back staircase. For anyone who has difficulty with stairs, please check with our clerk or our fire marshal and our fire official and marshal for assistance. Once outside, assemble on the northeast corner across the street from City Hall at Lewis and First Streets. Employees wearing safety vests or our city marshals will inform you when it's safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related items on the agenda, citizen participation and public hearing items, we have available a speaker card which you may complete and submit to our city clerk up front. Cards are available in the clerk's office or at the rear of these chambers. However, if you do not submit a card, it does not prevent you from speaking under public comment, citizen participation, or specified public hearing items. If anyone's present today who has need for hearing impaired equipment, please also see our city clerk staff. And if you parked in the parking garage across the street, a self-validation machine is located in the foyer between council chambers and the security desk you walk through to enter our chambers. You must have your ticket with you to use the machine. However, if you do not, please see our security personnel when exiting for a validation coupon. Before we proceed with our agenda, would everyone please rise for the invocation given this morning by Pastor Jason Adams, Good Samaritan Lutheran Church at the Lakes, and remain standing for our pledge, and good morning. Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor and Council. We pray. Holy One, this morning we want to give thanks for the many blessings in our lives and the ways that we have been able to serve together with joy in the city. We acknowledge that there is yet more to do and seek holy wisdom to help us run the race set before us, not growing weary, but with renewed strength and dedication to getting the job done. We ask that you would guide these and all our leaders elected to do important work on behalf of the people of this city, to listen with open minds, to be patient, and have a willingness to grow every day. Bring forth a spirit of cooperation, honesty, and imagination in all their dealings, and help us all to use our unique gifts and talents to bring about fresh solutions to these issues we face. We ask now that you would give us all new energy and ideas and a steadfast commitment to care for those who struggle to survive here on a daily basis. We ask for your guidance as we move forward with making Las Vegas a safer place for visitors and residents, a healthier place where help is available for those living with mental health challenges, chronic illness, and those dealing with disease and end-of-life issues. Remind us that we are not independent of one another, but interdependent, and that the success of this city is the success of us all. As our children begin a new school year, we pray for peace and protection for students, teachers, administrators, and support staff, that they would be able to carry out the most important work of educating our young people, and be with our first responders, the Las Vegas Fire Department, paramedics, police, and corrections officers, and all those who have sacrificed for us, for our troops here at home and those overseas. And most of all, teach us to care for one another, people of all faiths, races, sexual orientations, and gender expressions and identities, political parties, ages, and abilities, knowing that we are all neighbors. Help us to rise as one city, working for justice, progress, and the common good. Amen.
Pastor, you covered it all. We're going to conclude city council.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. We're coming on down for ceremonials. Hi, everybody, and I want you to know Councilman Creer, lucky man, is taking one of his daughters back to college, so he's excused. And I'm looking around at other family members who are old enough to have grown children, and we've all had that experience or something similar. So this is our ceremonial portion of the agenda, and for our first item, I want to invite our Government and Community Affairs Director, Randy Robeson, to join us at the podium. Here he is. Back and forth on the airplanes, up to Carson. Good morning. Our employees strive to meet our values of being kind, committed, and smart, and they work to build our community to make life better. I'm proud to announce that the Employee of the Month is none other than Zach Bucher. I should know this after all this time. Where are you? Did he leave already? Well, come on down. You've seen this act before. Thank you very much. Let me tell you a little bit about Zach. He has a long history with this city, although he looks very young. It's probably died or something. But anyway, he started as a volunteer in the former Mayor Goodman's office in 2006 while attending UNLV for his master's degree. He became a permanent employee thereafter in 2008, where he remained till 2011. As my husband was termed out, he was out of a job. And in 2016, he did return to the mayor's office for me and was with me in the mayor's office and his colleagues until 2021, when he moved on to be where he just loves it, in Government and Community Affairs. Always affable and willing to help, Zach is known throughout the city as someone who problem solves, loves investigative and research work, and is always results-oriented. In the course of his job in 2019, Zach saw a story on TV about a Las Vegas resident, Onofrio Nono Zakari, a World War II veteran who had been part of the invasion at Omaha Beach in Normandy on D-Day, 80 years ago, June 6, 1944. The video mentioned the government's oversight for failing to bestow a deserved Purple Heart to Nono for his service. It was truly a situation of incidents that made that happen. Zach was so moved and began a relentless pursuit of action. In 2021, 78 years after, Nono was awarded the long overdue Purple Heart. During that same year, he was recognized by our city council, and thereafter, ensuring that the crowds could recognize and thank our resident, he rode in the Veterans Day Parade. and did so again this past November for a second time. This year, No, at the age of 101 years, received an invitation to return to Omaha Beach with other survivors for the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion. No wanted to go, but at 101, that was no easy task. And at that advanced age, he obviously would have liked to have or needed a companion helper to join him. Showing great respect, gratitude for service, kindness, and commitment to No, the nation and our community, Zach said, "I will step up to fill that role as No's chaperone." What a selfless, generous, and patriotic act by Zach. Of course, he has a wife, a family, and full life here in Las Vegas. Yet he felt compelled to honor this nation, this man, this incredible veteran, and rearranged everything in his life to bring this historical and personal piece into reality. This is our selfless and committed to the community, Zach Bucher. Awesome. Now, what I learned, and we all may have known watching, as media gathered in Normandy on that 80th anniversary, the pursuit of veteran stories was foremost on all of their minds. No, one of the few who was interviewed, right there on the beach. This is where Zach really showed off the city value of being smart. He is a Las Vegan, of course, and he became No's public information officer, scheduling interviews and helping to make sure No's incredible story was told. As a town, as you all know, that thrives on tourism, we know any mention of Las Vegas helps drive our economy. Though the time was surely No's, through Zach's work, he garnered Las Vegas national and international attention. How many folks that saw No's story and how articulately he addressed the world later said to their friend or their spouse, "Hey, remember that D-Day vet? He was from Las Vegas. Maybe we should go there for our vacation." So what a great example to employees, showing all of us that each of our citizens is special and that we can strive to help them in any way we can. Zach, thank you for all that you do to serve our community. We're so grateful to you. We're proud of you. And you do look better. I mean, you know, dyed hair. There's a little help there. No, I know that. So, therefore, Randy, the man, please, if you'd say a few words, and then we'll hear from Zach.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate being able to be a part of this ceremony this morning. It's wonderful to recognize one of the employees from our department. Although I feel a little bit badly, we have wonderful employees throughout the city, and whenever we have the chance to recognize one as Employee of the Month, usually 30 or 40 or 50 of their colleagues come and fill up a whole section, and there's balloons and fireworks and parades and hooping and hollering and all sorts of stuff. Except in our department, we only have 5 people, so yes. Look at that. As usual, the employees in my department have exceeded my expectations, so thank you. That's nice. As the mayor said, she just wanted me to say a few words, and I was a little bit worried about what it is I might say to honor this young man here. So I just reached out to him and asked him what I should say. He wrote down a few things, just a few things. It begins, "Never before in the long history of human existence has there ever been a man so handsome and charming and witty and handsome. Let's stop there. No, it's a great honor for me to recognize Zach. In my short time here at the city, he's become a trusted member of our team, a friend, a confidant. He does so much work for us and so much work that goes unseen by so many that helps our department run smoother, helps our city run smoother. We asked him a couple of years ago to take over supervisory duties for council staff. And as you might imagine, that's a whole job unto itself. We have very active council folks and staffs, and they're always doing a million different things every day, and Zach tries to help them with whatever little issue comes up along the way to help them be successful in their work. That's just the kind of guy he is. And so, again, an honor for me to recognize Zach, and congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you, Randy. Well, thank you. This is not the first time I've had to speak in front of council, but this is the first time I'm speaking on a subject that's really dear to me, myself. I could probably wax poetic all morning. My mother's here. She wouldn't mind, but I'll save the rest of you and try and make this quick. Mayor, I really need to start by thanking you and thanking Mayor Oscar. He did give me my first job at City Hall. It was unpaid. There's an old saying that you get what you pay for, but I would like to think that I was the exception to that rule. I took good advantage of the opportunity he gave me and turned that unpaid job into a paid part-time job and then a paid full-time job, and I'll always be appreciative and grateful that he gave me that opportunity. I did leave the city for a few years, and then, Mayor, you called, asked if I would consider coming back to work at the city for you. Reflecting on that now, I'm not really too sure you were calling and asking, or you called and told me you were making an offer I couldn't refuse and that I'd better accept, and I'm glad that I accepted, so thank you. I saw how hard both you and Mayor Oscar worked every single day, how much you love Las Vegas, how much you poured your heart and soul into this community, and in whatever little way that I was able to help you carry out your duties as mayor, it was an honor and privilege for me, so thank you, Mayor. Now, I know what you're all thinking right now. You're thinking, man, that Zach is just an amazing mayor's assistant. And I can't blame you for thinking that because, well, you'd be correct in that assessment. But I'm not here being recognized for the work I did with the mayors, but rather what we did for No-No Zakari. World War II veteran, 101 years old. Believe me when I say 101 years old, never looked so good. You'll have to believe me. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it today. But hopefully he's watching right now. Let's give No-No a round of applause, please. You know, the word hero gets thrown out a little too willy-nilly, in my opinion, nowadays. People doing what they should, and we say, oh, what a hero. But on June 6, 1944, D-Day, Normandy, France, storming Omaha Beach, fighting, bleeding for our country, almost being killed in action. After D-Day, remaining in the war, fighting across Europe, fighting at the Battle of the Bulge. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that. I tried to not get emotional, but how can you not get emotional talking about No-No? Thank you. What he did and the other members of his greatest generation did quite literally save the world. And I hope you believe that because it's true. And I hope we'll always remember those heroes. They fought for freedom. They fought for liberty. They fought against tyranny and oppression. They did so without asking for any recognition. They did so without complaint, although it came at great personal sacrifice. If that's not heroic, if that's not heroism, if that's not a hero, I don't know what is. So thank you, No-No, and thank you, all our veterans that are here today. No, thank you for allowing me to go with you to Normandy for the 80th anniversary. It was an amazing trip, one that I will cherish and remember till the day I die. We're actually leaving on Friday. We're going to Memphis for a veterans gala. They're honoring World War II veterans. It's a short trip. We leave Friday. We come back Sunday. In January, we're going to New Orleans. Not for Mardi Gras. Don't get too excited. But we're actually going to the National World War II Museum. So looking forward to that. And the last thing I'll say about No-No, really quick, he's got a great sense of humor. And if he is watching right now, I'm sure he's thinking, I fought in a world war. I stormed Omaha Beach. I fought at the Battle of the Bulge. I almost died. And they're honoring Zach? So thank you, No-No. You are a hero. You're an American treasure. You're my hero and my friend. So let's hear it for No-No one more time, please. Thank you. And I'll just end by saying that I really appreciate this recognition, and I hope it'll serve as a call to action or maybe just a reminder to all of us that it's never too late to right a wrong. It's never too late to do the right thing. There's people out there that need our help. If you're lucky like me to work at the City of Las Vegas, it's baked into what we do every day. We come to work to make a difference, to serve this community. If you don't work at the city, or even if you do work at the city outside of your working hours, there's plenty of opportunities to help people. So I would encourage you to get involved, to do something to help others. I don't have the meaning of life for you today, unfortunately, but I do believe that's how we find meaning in this life, and this is how we make this crazy world just a little better, by helping one another. So there's so many people that help me. I can't name them all. It wouldn't be fair. I would forget. Just really reaffirm going through this whole process, trying to help No-No, how many people came out to help me. And so really grateful to everybody. And if you help me in any way with this endeavor or at work or just in my life, I thank you so much, and I hope I've returned that favor some way to you. I just said I wasn't going to name anybody, but I need to thank Jace Radke for nominating me and saying those nice things. I'd like to thank... And I'd like to thank the Employee Recognition Committee for selecting me. It really means a lot. So just remember, with a good conscience, our only sure reward, let us ask his blessing and his help, but knowing that here on earth, God's work must truly be our own. I wish I made that up. I stole it from President Kennedy, but I just want to say thank you. I'm very honored, humbled, grateful, and appreciative for this honor. So God bless you all. Thank you.
Nobody can follow that saying anything, so we're going to get a picture taken right up front. And here is your beautiful memorial of today. But No, God bless you from everybody in this country. And hope you are watching with great respect. We thank you. So let's go in front here. Randy. Well, we'll just put him right in
You don't want
front
to be
there.
next to me, Randy?
Come on. A little closer, right? Perfect. Yeah, it's fine. We have the big seal in front. We have that. As long as you've worked here, behind you is the bigger seal.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Randy, thank you. That was funny. Wow. And Jace, you know, it is a remarkable group of people we have here in our city. And Jace, please stand up so those who have not seen you. I mean, been here a long, long time, came right out of middle school to the city, and has been so bright and talented and far-reaching. But I think the words that were said, and Randy said it so well, this is the greatest group of employees that share with each other, and every one of them deserves the same recognition. But this special honoring of Nono Zaccario, and how it was just one human being, kind, committed, and smart, working here, that really has it in the heart when something doesn't seem right to try to fix it. So it was beautiful. Zach was beautiful. Mom, must be your sense of humor. He really is something else. And Cheryl Russo, who was here with Oscar before, and his beautiful wife, Dominique, is here as well. And then fabulous, his office, his whole group, and Steph, and from my office, Kimberly and Laura. We're all devoted to him because every day he'd walk in and say, I'm here, the most handsome, greatest sense of humor. That all comes through you, Mom. So thank you. And at this point, then, I will turn over, hiding in the corner in red, please, Councilwoman Ellen Polensky. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. In 2009, local veteran-owned business American Shooters initiated and created a veteran memorial in Las Vegas. Dan Stark, Army veteran Mick Catrone, and Marine Corps veteran Scott Tiano defined their plans for a project and launched a nationwide search for an artist who would bring to life the memorial. Over 200 artists submitted resumes, and one sculptor, Dewey Bloomberg, stood out above all the rest. Bloomberg, whose father and uncle served during World War II, described the project as not an artistic endeavor, but as a passion and a labor of love. The Nevada State Veterans Memorial, located at the Grant Sawyer State Building, features 18 magnificent sculptures representing battles from the Revolutionary War through the global war on terror, and a noteworthy statue depicting a supportive family of a service member. It was officially dedicated by Governor Brian Sandoval on May 28, 2016. Last year, the state of Nevada purchased a new campus and is in the process of selling the Grant Sawyer building, thus creating the necessity to relocate Nevada State Memorial. If I could have Brendan Vargas, Vincent Palmieri, and Dr. John Romero please join me here at the dais, I'd appreciate it. In March of this year, Brendan Vargas, who is a retired Air Force veteran and someone who remains active in the local veterans community, contacted my office and alerted us to the exciting possibility of bringing this powerful tribute to Ward 4. I immediately jumped at the opportunity and began meeting with several vital departments within the city to try to make this a reality. Paging Mr. Ford. Brendan was also instrumental in gathering the near impossible contact information for Mick and Scott. After meeting with us all virtually, Mick and Scott not only provided us with the precious details about the creation of the memorial, they also gave us their support to move forward. Additionally, Brendan made us aware of a petition that was circulating throughout the veteran community, imploring elected officials to keep the memorial in the city of Las Vegas. This gentleman is Marine Corps veteran Vincent Palmieri, who is he is the commander of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Chapter 711. Vincent tirelessly attended countless community events to gather veteran signatures on this petition and formed the Veterans Memorial Committee to ensure that other veterans organizations were involved in this process. One of the individuals serving on the Veterans Memorial Committee is Army veteran Joel Foreman, who is commander of the American Legion Post 76, Spirit of Freedom. Joel was instrumental in circulating the petition and is an experienced leader in the veterans community. He has continually provided invaluable feedback regarding the relocation of the memorial. After gaining the support of the veterans community at large, we reached out to Jack Robb from the governor's office and the director of Nevada Department of Veterans Services, retired Lieutenant Colonel Mary Devine, to share our proposal. And then we anxiously awaited a decision. On June 26th, the city was notified that our proposal to relocate the Nevada State Veterans Memorial to Ward 4 at the Thunderbird Sports Complex was chosen. Joining us today, representing the Nevada Department of Veterans Services, are Mark McBride, Wendell Blaylock, and Christopher Miani. This new location will feature the existing Nevada State Veterans Memorial, and in the future, new memorials honoring Purple Heart recipients, and Gold Star families will be installed. This location will provide a beautiful mountain backdrop to enjoy sunsets, increased visibility from the street, full accessibility to commemorate and celebrate veterans-related holidays, and around-the-clock, state-of-the-art surveillance, cameras monitored by our city marshals and the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Another special highlight of the memorial are bricks available for purchase, which honor our veterans and their service. The new site will include an additional section of bricks featuring the names and family who provide support to our veterans community. And for his tireless work ensuring that World War II Army veteran Onofrio Nono Zakari finally received his Purple Heart, as we learned earlier, after 77 years, and escorting him on his trip to Omaha Beach in Normandy for the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion, I will be purchasing a brick for my friend and Employee of the Month, Zach Butcher. If you're listening, Zach, we love you. I'm grateful to every veteran, community member, and staff member with both the city and the state for their dedication and support of this incredibly important project. I am committed to ensuring that this location will provide much-needed tranquil environment and become the premier location for veterans and their families, community members, and visitors to heal, reflect, and honor the fallen. And now I'd like to ask Mark McBride from Nevada Veterans Services to share a few words with us.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you. My name is, for the record, my name is Mark McBride. I'm the Deputy Director of Healthcare Services for Nevada Department of Veteran Services. That's a mouthful. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Mayor, Council, to be here and celebrate this moment. It's a wonderful time to partner with this memorial that is so near and dear to our hearts. On behalf of the department, we want to thank the City of Las Vegas for its partnership and the support of our veterans. Also want to thank the American Shooters for its efforts in creating such an incredible tribute to recognize and honor our military men and women. Thank you also to the Military Order of Purple Heart and its leadership for its efforts to ensure the memorial will be placed in a new home to be safe and secure for future generations to visit and cherish. I would encourage everyone to attend the farewell ceremony for the memorial on September 13th at 0900 at the memorial site at the Grant Sawyer Building, 555 East Washington Avenue, we all know. We hope to see you there. I will now like to turn it over to Vice Chairman of our Veteran Services Commission, Wendell Blaylock.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. My name is Wendell Blaylock, and I'm the Vice Chair for the Nevada Veterans Services Commission. On behalf of the Commission and my military and veterans colleagues, I too want to thank the City of Las Vegas and all the supporters here for their work to make sure the Nevada State Veterans Memorial is preserved and cherished. This memorial is unique. It is all-inclusive. One, it recognizes military members and veterans from all conflicts, all generations. It also recognizes key supporters of our military and veteran community, to include families of military veterans and other non-combatants. It is a piece of our history. It's important to all of us. Thank you for this opportunity this morning to show our gratitude, and we look forward to working with you as the memorial becomes established in its new home. I will now turn it over to Christopher Miane.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christopher Miane. I'm the Southern Nevada Outreach Director for the state. I I would like to honor this morning our veterans that we have lost. And in addition, some of our veterans here in the front row, these are Purple Heart members. So if you have a Purple Heart, go ahead and stand. Let's recognize our Purple Heart veterans. All right. So on behalf of my veteran colleagues and the department, thank you for the work to place the memorial in its new home and to be visited and recognized by future generations. I look forward to working with you as we unveil the memorial in its new home in the months to come. Thank you.
I'd like to give Mr. Palmieri the opportunity for a few words.
Thank you. Before I begin, Mayor, I'd like to thank you for awarding Nono his Purple Heart. And if you didn't know, Nono is a member of our Purple Heart chapter.
I did know that.
And when I met him and he told me his last name, I said, "Oh, you're Italian." He said, "No, I'm Sicilian." I wish I had that when I'm 100 years old. I'm really nervous to be up here. I didn't expect this. And in my opinion, I don't deserve this. The people who deserve this are my veteran friends, men and women, who worked tirelessly to get this petition going. Ms. Bennett, Mr. Richard Moyer, Mr. Chuck Baker, all worked tirelessly to go around and get veterans to sign this petition. And we found out one thing. There were a lot of veterans that did not know we had a memorial. And that really surprised me. Even when I was at the VA hospital walking around and I asked veterans, "Have you ever been to our memorial at the Grant Sawyer building?" "Oh, we have one?" I said, "Yes." And last year, on Veterans Day at the ceremonies, when I found out that the memorial was going to be moved, and there was talk about it being moved to the cemetery. And after the ceremony, I approached the lieutenant governor, and I said, "Sir, that's not acceptable to us veterans. We need to be visible." He said to me, "Vince, get me 3 places, and we'll talk about it." And that's exactly what I did. I reached out to my friends in the veterans community to help me, and we formed this committee. And I'm telling you, I emailed everyone that I could possibly think of, and there were 4 people who responded to me. The first one was Councilwoman Victoria Seaman. The second one was the mayor of Henderson. The third one was the mayor of North Las Vegas. And the last one, and the one that counted the most, was Councilwoman Frances Allen Polanski. When the mayor of Henderson said, "Vince, we have many places to put it," and I said, "Your Honor, please, we'd like to keep it in Las Vegas. We'll keep Henderson on the back burner if it doesn't work out." The mayor of North Las Vegas also approached me and said, "Oh, we can put it right here in City Hall." I said, "Thank you, but no thank you." And when Councilwoman Frances Allen Polanski approached me and we had a meeting and I saw the plan, I immediately went back home and emailed my committee and I said, "We have a home." And we are very thankful. And I don't know how much you know how much this really means to me and to these veterans. We're tired of being in the background. We need to be in the forefront. Our country, our community needs to know what our veterans stand for and what they have done. I'm a Vietnam veteran. Most of you know how we were treated when we came home. So this is very special to me and to all our Vietnam veterans and all veterans. So, Councilwoman, I want to thank you very much from our committee, from all veterans, for your hard work. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much.
I wouldn't want to be in a foxhole with anyone else. Mr. Vargas, your turn. Come on up.
Awesome, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm grateful for the recognition, but I'm more grateful for the fact that when we came to the city of Las Vegas with this, they ran with it. And being here today, knowing that it's staying in the city of Las Vegas, that's incredible. Because the veterans in this community need to continue to have a place. A lot of people may not realize that currently the Veterans Memorial is at the Grant Sawyer Building, which is within the city of Las Vegas, Ward 5. So all we're doing is moving this from Ward 5 to Ward 4. And just like Vince said, I was also there when they made the announcement that they were going to originally move the memorial out to Boulder City. And one of the biggest arguments that we have is you already have the cemetery at Boulder City, you already have the Veterans Home at Boulder City, and we appreciate everything that Boulder City has done, but we need to keep something in Las Vegas. And keeping this memorial as beautiful as it is, as important as it is to this community is great. And I thank not just Councilwoman Polinsky, the entire council, but our professional staff as well. To the city manager and his team that are going to be the engineer. By the way, you might get a call from the county later on today. Just do me a favor and ignore that call. It never happened. Now that I got that out of the way. But no, seriously, we've got great engineering on this project. We've got great support for the project. So eventually, when it does open up, it's going to be a great day for us, and it's going to continue to allow events like Veterans Day to remain in Las Vegas. So thank you all very much, and thank you so much for your support on this.
Thank you, Brendan.
One thing I forgot to mention on celebrating Vietnam Veterans Day, there was an event, and I was walking around the room with my petition trying to get people to sign it. That's where I met Brandon the first time, and he whispered in my ears, "I can't tell you anything, but don't worry about it."
Okay, I feel Mr. Riggleman's eyes burning a hole in the back of my head. We have to move on. But without further delay, I would like to present a proclamation. Whereas the Nevada State Veterans Memorial was dedicated at the Grant Sawyer Building by Governor Brian Sandoval on May 28, 2016. And whereas the memorial features 18 larger-than-life statues masterfully sculptured by artist Dewey Bloomberg, which represent conflicts from the Revolutionary War through the Global War on Terror. And whereas on June 26, 2024, the city was notified that the State Veterans Memorial would remain in the city of Las Vegas, with its new home nestled in beautiful Ward 4 at Thunderbird Sports Complex. Without the tireless effort of several entities, this project would not have been possible. Whereas retired Senior Master Sergeant Brendan Vargas brought the project to the city of Las Vegas, provided vital support, and assisted in the gathering of veteran stakeholders, these efforts were instrumental in moving this project forward. Whereas Commander of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Chapter 711, Vincent Palmieri, invested countless hours forming the Veterans Memorial Committee, creating and distributing a petition in the interest of preserving the integrity of the Nevada State Veterans Memorial and ensured that it remained in the city of Las Vegas. And whereas Joel Foreman, commander of the American Legion Post 76, the Spirit of Freedom, served on the Veterans Memorial Committee and provided crucial support, his assistance in circulating the petition provided a powerful voice to local veterans in the community. Therefore, we, the mayor, and the members of the Las Vegas City Council hereby proudly proclaim August 21st, 2024, Nevada Memorial Preservation Day.
I have one for each of you.
In the city of Las Vegas. And thanks to all the residents and visitors who join us in recognizing these individuals and groups for their tremendous efforts and dedication to support all veterans in our community. If we can go up front and take a few pictures, Mayor, let's do it.
Yeah. Come right, we have an insignia up there, the huge big one.
Everybody, first we're going to look at Kira in the green first, and then everybody else will. Yeah, she's the official one. Fire away.
Just so everybody knows, I'm not a commander.
chooses me because I'm more handsome.
Thank you. Great. When it was dedicated at the State Building, everybody was so proud. State so that you've kept it at least in the core area. Exactly. Wonderful.
Well, I hope
But
I'll see you and Oscar both at the
Oh,
unveiling.
yeah. Wonderful.
I know, Mr. Vogt.
Thank you very much.
It's
a pleasure.
with you. Yes,
Yes,
send my regards to
I was
Mary.
in this
Absolutely.
Thank
Will do.
Thank you. Well done.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is great.
So I wanted to
You
get in
too.
touch with you.
Thank you, my friend.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
How are you? Good. How's everything?
Thank you all.
Yeah, please.
Thank
have
you
them
for
get in
your
touch with me.
services.
More about talking.
Thank
man.
you.
So good seeing
again.
you.
You too.
Okay.
Take care. Okay. No, good. All right. Back to work. Okay.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, everyone, we're going to regroup. Don't go too far away. How many are we? Okay, we're ready to reconvene here. What a wonderful morning. And what a beautiful memorial the state had built. I was at that unveiling of the additional statues in 2016, and you're filled with such pride when you go from statue to statue, from conflict to conflict, realizing the sacrifices of so many. So we are on agenda item 7, is that correct? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our first public hearing, public comment time during this portion of the agenda. It must be limited to matters on the council agenda for action. The amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. All comments made will be cross-referenced to those specific items, and anyone who submitted a speaker card wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium, state your name for the record. It is your opportunity to address our council, but the council will not respond or engage in dialogue. At this first public hearing portion, please, we'll set the time at 1 minute. Hearing and seeing no one, we'll move on to agenda 8. And this is for possible action, items from the 9:30 a.m. session that the council staff and/or applicant wish to be stricken, tabled, withdrawn, or held in abeyance to a future meeting may be brought forward and acted upon at this time. Mayor Pro Tem Knudsen, may I have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I did have one item, but I believe Councilwoman Bruni is going to ask for that item to be read. And so, no items at this point in time.
Okay, thank you very much, and we'll move on to agenda 9. For possible action to approve the final minutes by reference to the July 17th, 2024 regular city council meeting. Mayor Pro Tem may have a motion on the minutes.
Move to approve.
Thank you. There's a motion to approve, and please vote on those minutes. And that motion carries. We'll move on to agenda item 10. Items 10 through 41 on the consent agenda are considered to be routine, recommended for approval by the departments, may be enacted in one motion. Councilwoman Seaman, I understand you want to make a comment before we vote on the consent agenda, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As I have for the past 3 years, I oppose the motion to provide additional funding for outside counsel on the Badlands lawsuit. Our outside counsel has no incentive to settle. We have 14 civil attorneys in-house, and we need to resolve this. I refuse to pour another $500,000 down this black hole at a time when the city is freezing needed positions and looking to cut capital improvement projects. We must settle this lawsuit now and not continue to throw good money after bad. I will be a no on number 10. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion for the consent agenda for items 10 through 41, acknowledging Council Seaman's comments.
Move to approve with the comments.
Thank you very much. This motion, please vote and please post. And that motion carries. And we'll move on.
10 only or all of them? All of them, right? Okay.
Yeah, right, but your comments will be handled on 10. Thank you. Agenda item 42, discussion for possible action on the proposed bill draft request to be submitted to the Legislative Council Bureau on behalf of the City of Las Vegas for the 83rd session of the Nevada Legislature 2025 session, all wards. Good afternoon again. Morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. For the record, Randy Robinson, Director of Government Affairs. Nice to be with you. I'm glad to be here for this particular item. Here to present to you 3 items for your consideration to forward to the legislature for legislation in the 2025 session. As you all know, under current law, the City of Las Vegas is allowed 3 different bill drafts. And as luck would have it, I have 3 different ideas for you to consider. These ideas are a result of many months of conversations with department directors, legislative staff that they have within those departments, experts on issues, of course our city management team, and all of you about what it is that the city ought to be pursuing in terms of legislation that would help our citizens. And then we, of course, put that within the construct of your priorities, which are our priorities, public health, public safety, healthcare, and economic development. And so the three that we have prepared for you, we've been talking about for quite some time. The first one is we're pursuing a Medicaid code to be entered in statute that would allow for Medicaid reimbursement for medical respite care. That's a very specific term in the healthcare community. As you all know, at our Recuperative Care Center, which is the only one in the state that provides these types of services to our unhoused individuals who have nowhere else to go to heal, they come to our place. They're often brought to our place by other entities, and we offer care there for as long as they may need it to help them heal. And while they're there, we also try to get them connected with other services that will help them on their path back to self-sufficiency. Currently, we are funding that entirely out of general fund, which is that population continues to grow, our cost continues to grow. We've been working in collaboration with the state Department of Health and Human Services, thanks to many of you, your efforts there, and they are working in good partnership with us to find a way to help us alleviate some of that cost. We talked about the idea of a Medicaid code for medical respite care for this population. They have agreed, and so we will be working in partnership with them, and we will be forwarding, should you approve it, we will be using one of our bill draft requests for that purpose for legislation to make that happen. So that's the first one. The second one, pardon me, is about affordable housing. As you all know from talking to your constituents, probably on a daily basis, affordable housing has become an increasingly critical issue for our entire community. And there is no shortage of ideas and programs to try to help folks stay in their homes, and then for those who have, for whatever reason, lost a home, to get back into housing of some kind. And so the second idea encompasses two different incentives. Both of them would help incentivize affordable housing development. The first one would incentivize it in a way that would help encourage more compact, infill, multi-family, multi-use kind of development. Similar to our Desert Pines project, but on a much smaller basis throughout our community. That would allow the city to use tax increment financing to help as a part of the funding necessary to get those projects up and going. The second one is what we call the missing middle incentive. There are lots of programs, affordable housing efforts to help those at varying levels of income. What often gets overlooked is what has become called the missing middle, or we might think of it in terms of workforce housing. This is housing that is generally for folks like teachers, police officers, healthcare workers, those that are making a decent wage, but unfortunately, with all of the different economic factors coming to play, housing becomes further and further and further out of even their reach. We currently fund a set of initiatives under a state statute for affordable housing projects that allows us to offer an incentive of up to 60% of AMI. What this second piece of this proposal would offer is to allow us to go up to 120%. Not that we would have to go to 120, but that we would have the flexibility to go up to 120%. We believe this would help incentivize some of that affordable housing option, again, in that missing middle tier for our community. The final one is some updates, some cleanups to our local land use planning process. As our planning staff will tell you, and as they have told you many times, there are some things in our planning process that are in state law they're not as clear as they could be, and that can sometimes have an unintended consequence for us, for the folks who bring applications for projects to our planning commission and ultimately to our council. So working with planning staff, they would like to propose making some cleanups in Chapter 278 that would help make the planning process more clear for everyone that's involved. Developers, property owners, constituents, council, planning commissioner, everybody. And so those are the three proposals that we have to recommend to you. Again, those are based on, as I mentioned before, conversations that have been running for many, many months with all of us together. We've distilled them to these three for your consideration. And should you approve these today, we will get those submitted to the LCB by the deadline, which is September 1st. Mayor, that concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions that you,
Thank you.
council may have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roberson. And any comments, questions here? Councilwoman, any? Yes, please, go ahead, Councilwoman Bruni.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I just want to thank you, Randy, for your leadership. I know you started with a list of probably at least 10 BDR proposals, and so I think you've done a great job working with the staff and the council, whittling it down to 3. And I just want to also say for, put on record that I'm really proud of the list of the BDRs that we're proposing. I think our region faces so many challenges with transportation and affordable housing and workforce development and healthcare. And I think this list really reflects the fact that the city is doing some big picture thinking and trying to address those big policy challenges that we face. So, anybody who's visited the courtyard or the respite care center know what a critical, important resource it is, but also how expensive it is. And so I'm really pleased that we're trying to find a way to support that work, because it is a critical resource in the ecosystem that serves our unhoused right now. And obviously, I think you shared, right, affordable housing is a huge issue. So I'm looking forward to supporting these proposals as you go up to Carson City.
Thank you. Councilwoman Seaman, please.
I also want to thank you. I'm very supportive on the first two, which is the recuperative care center, the Medicaid, much needed. The affordable housing cleanup will help us quite a bit. But I will be opposing the bill draft request to strengthen the City of Las Vegas land use planning process. The current process, when done right, has worked exceptionally well in managed development and growth in the city. I also know from spending time up in Carson City that the bill is very vague, and it could end up with many unintended consequences, which could negatively impact developers and the city. And while our master plan is critical roadmap for the future, it shouldn't overly restrict City Council from evaluating projects individually to determine their viability and appropriateness. Therefore, I will not be supporting the third bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Councilwoman Polensky, any questions, comments? Councilwoman? Council. So with that said, I want to thank you for this. I know there are so many thoughts on the table. One of the ones that keeps coming to mind on the first BDR, I remember the movie or the video that we saw on TV again about a patient from one of the hospitals, one of the private hospitals, that the patient had just been there so long and had no family and no place to go. And so that patient ended up in a wheelchair on the street corner. And so these are the conditions. These are the ones where they are not hotels, the hospitals, and after a patient is able to be on his or her own way to further repair, there is no place. And so how critical the recuperative care center has been to the entire community. You mentioned it's the only one, not only down here, but in the state, I think. So there needs to be much more concentration on that. And as you and staff go up to Carson to speak on these issues, hopefully the entire state will take a look at the overall plan, because we have really dropped the ball there. There are too many people and too many coming in that are homeless but have issues, medical as well. And as we try to care for them, they need a place to continue until they can get back in the workforce and in life. So thank you very much. And Mr. Dorkak, on voting on this, how it's just a matter of record, Councilwoman Siemens wishes to oppose the third BDR.
Jeff Dorkak, City Attorney, correct. We can do it that way, but we've already discussed it with Mr. Robeson, and we're good with 3 votes on this item, so we'll do each BDR one by one. So the first one is Medicaid, second one is affordable housing, third one is land use and zoning.
Okay, so let's do it one at a time. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion, please?
Madam Mayor, I'm going to move to approve item number 1 on this blue sheet, which is medical respite care for homeless individuals and a BDR in that form.
Okay, will you please vote on item 1? My sheet was green, I thought. You got a blue one.
The colors, it
Okay,
always gets
that
us messed up here.
passes. Okay.
Madam Mayor, I'm going to move to approve.
Yes,
Thank
that
you.
was unanimous, thank you.
This is item number 2. This is the affordable housing incentives proposal for a BDR.
Please vote, and then please post on that. And that passes unanimously, and then agenda item 3 on property.
And I will move to approve the proposed BDR for changes to NRS 278 local land use planning process cleanup.
And please vote. And please post, and that does reflect your vote. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And thanks to your team. Thank you, Mr. Dorkak. We will move on now to agenda item 43, resolutions, R52-2024, public hearing and discussion for possible action regarding a resolution relating to a tourism improvement district, TID, in the city of Las Vegas City and other matters properly related thereto for the project known as the New Vegas Immersive District and approximate 35.5 acre assemblage of properties in the city bordered by Sirius Avenue to the south, Riggle Avenue and Wyandotte Streets to the west, Teddy Drive to the north, Rancho Road to the east, and these are in Ward 3 with Councilwoman Diaz. And so here we are. Hi.
Hi, good morning, Mayor, City Council, Dina Babsky, Acting Director of Economic and Urban Development for the city. And here with me is Mr. Kyle Sutherland with the Fisher Brothers. So the purpose of today's public hearing and discussion is to present the findings of the preponderance study that was ordered for the New Vegas Immersive District TID, which is part of the process prescribed in NRS 271A. Before we get to the preponderance study, I would like to give a little bit of a background just to remind where we have been up until now. And so with that, then I will move on to the results of the preponderance study. The consultant that did that unfortunately had a scheduling conflict, unexpected one, so I will go ahead and present that. And then following that, Mr. Sutherland will present the updates on the project itself. So if that sounds great, let's go ahead and get started. So the City Council resolution was approved back in June 2023, which instructed staff at the time to engage a vendor to conduct a preponderance study. The preponderance study, as you may recall, requires to have the following findings in order for a TID to be possible as prescribed by 271A. It has to find that the retailers will locate in the tourism improvement district, that there will be a substantial increase in the generated sales and use tax from those new retailers, and that the majority of those sales are going to be attributed to the non-Nevada residents. So we don't want to collect tax from north. We want to attract new out-of-state visitors. The city, following that resolution, had engaged with Johnson Consulting, and these vendors, I would like to mention, are pre-approved by the state. There's a list of vendors that we could choose from. So we engaged with Johnson Consulting, and they conducted the study and presented the report back to the city in April of this year. Following that, back in June 26th City Council, you all have approved a resolution for us to send the findings of that report, within that report, to the county and notify them that that they have 45 days to provide their feedback, whether it is be a written one or we could be potentially heard on one of their board meetings. And so with that, we just received the letter from the county, and I'd like to enter it into the record yesterday. Yes, and Of course, they are always supportive of our efforts to, to run projects that are beneficial to the community, but as always, they caution us that we need to be sure that we're frugal with any kind of public funding. And we appreciate county for their
So
response.
as clerk, if I could ask you to take copy for that for the record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So here we are today. It is a public hearing and a discussion with the project updates. And if everything goes well today and it is approved, then we essentially move on to the next step, which I will cover after the presentation. So a little bit about the project. Johnson Consulting, they were provided the details on what the project will be, what all will be included in the project. As you recall, it is called New Vegas Immersive District Project, and it is right north of where Area 15 currently is. The project will sit on 35.5 acres. It will have 100,000 square foot of horror-themed immersive entertainment. Very exciting. It will open just in time for next year's Halloween. And I'm sure Kyle will talk more about who's going in there. A lot of retail space, over 400,000 square feet, office space, 200 key hotel room, and even some multifamily housing units. And I'd like to mention this is a phased build out, so it's not all coming at once, but again, Kyle will talk about their timeline. All right, let's move on to the study and its findings. So when the consultants conduct their study, they look at the span of life cycle of a TID, which they go for 20 years per NRS. The consultant, after working with the developer, they determined that the year of stabilization, meaning when the project, after fully built out, operates at its full capacity, is going to be 2037. By that year, 6.9 million visitors will be attracted to NVID. And the preponderance determined that most of them will be out-of-state residents. In that year, 2037, it is expected that 796 million will be done in spending on-site, just in that 1 year, with 1.4 billion of total spending, which that also includes indirect and induced spending. And to kind of clarify what that means is direct spending is what's happening on site. Indirect spending is what's happening, say, somebody bought something on site, then the retailer has to go and replenish their inventory, so that adds as an indirect spending. And induced spending also includes an element where anybody who works on the project or on its property, then they use their salaries to go and purchase additional items. So 1.4 billion in total impact. Additionally, by year 2037, almost 4,000 jobs will be created to support the project, with 384 million in increased earnings. So with all of that, it is estimated that the sales tax proceeds in year 2037 will reach $15.8 million, which is what TID eligible proceeds are. As you can imagine that, up until 2037, the stabilization year, the sales tax proceeds will gradually increase, and that's when they will reach 15.8 by then. The study also found that 56% of non-Nevada residents will be the amount that will visit, which will contribute almost $9 million out of that sales tax in 2037. Another item that the study kind of has to find is the fact that the sales tax is not displaced from other surrounding areas. Essentially, we're looking for new retailers to come in and not just the ones that are currently in business relocate into the area, and the study did determine that. Ooh, that's a busy slide. I hope you can see it better on your screens, but what I just wanted to highlight on this slide, if you look at the top blue line, this is where I mentioned that by year 2037, you will see the $15.8 million, and all the years up until then, the gradual increase in sales tax proceeds as the project gets built out further. In the years 2037 through 2044, it is established that, or estimated that almost $161 million in sales tax proceeds will be generated. All right. Other items that the preponderance study was able to find is the impact that this project would have on government services. And so they did determine that the project itself will not, and the new people that will be working there, they will not have a significant impact on the Southern Nevada education system. And I kind of wanted to break down that a little bit further. So a good thing, if we flip back to the previous slide, if you could take a look at line 3 where it says less local supported tax at 2.6%, that number is actually automatically deducted from the sales tax proceeds and goes towards education. So if you take a look at that by year 2037, there's going to be over $12.5 million in sales tax proceeds going towards education. In addition, they also determined that the impact on the actual number of students in the Clark County School District will also be immaterial. And reason being is the current rate of student per population is 0.14%. If they use those numbers with the numbers of employees who are going to be working on site, about 217 students will be added into the school district, which is, you know, based on the fact that we're already 5th largest, it's not going to be that impactful. The consultant also worked very closely with the Las Vegas Metro and the Las Vegas Fire, because it is required that they need to determine whether there's going to be a significant impact on police and safety services. So based on their conversations, both entities determined that there will be no significant impact to their day-to-day operations if New Vegas Immersive District holds any kind of special events. They would have to go through our regular special events permitting process, which will then require for them, if any additional public safety is needed, to go through the standard and, you know, process where they would have to pay higher and so forth. And lastly, there's also another positive impact on the public safety itself, is because 0.4% of the sales tax that we all pay in the stores actually goes towards public safety. So that means that by year 2037, $2 million will be generated annually to go towards public safety. So, all great news. With that, I'd like to go over the timeline. So today we're here, and hopefully if the resolution is approved, then our next step is to send the packet to the Nevada Commission on Tourism and get on their agenda for their September 11th hearing and present the same findings that we just did today.
Excuse me, is that under our Lieutenant Governor?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. He should be very positive, I would think, having occupied many of these seats. Thank you.
The next step would be to come back to you all with an ordinance to actually establish the Tourism Improvement District, hopefully in October. Probably on that same council agenda, we will have 2 additional agreements, which is our cooperative agreement with the state, which allows us to receive the sales tax proceeds, and then in return the reimbursement agreement with the Fisher Brothers that will determine how much and, you know, what eligible costs would be covered by the sales tax proceeds. So with that, if there's any questions for me now, I'm happy to take them. If not, I'll give Kyle the mic.
Any questions, Councilwoman Polensky?
No, ma'am.
No? How about down here? You call? Excellent presentation, thank you.
Thank you, Dina.
Beautiful.
Again, Kyle Sutherland, 2950 South Rancho Drive.
Welcome.
Mayor and council, thank you for hearing this matter. I'm pleased to be able to share details of what will become a world-class entertainment and retail district with mixed uses, and all of these developed within the city of Las Vegas. We have a proven track record, Fisher Brothers has a strong track record for 100 years of developing quality real estate, and the last 20 of those have been in the city of Las Vegas. Our holdings are roughly 80 acres, and we see those here outlined in red. The area fronts I-15 and is bound by District Desert Inn to the south and Teddy Drive to the north. All acreage currently sits within redevelopment area 2, marking the land as a prime candidate to promote revitalization. The development opportunity we're presenting today will bring new businesses and jobs to the site, along with additional tax revenue, all within the city of Las Vegas again. We have a proven track record to exemplify the benefits of investing in this location. The development on site today is highlighted by Area 15, which is a Vegas-born center for experiential entertainment, and that attracts roughly 3.5 million visitors in 2023, and since opening in 2020 has attracted 8 million visitors. It's particularly of note that 70% of these visitors come from out of state. Currently, over 1,000 local people are employed on site today. And also of interest, several of the tenants are first to market. So Area 15 has brought new tenants to the valley, and they're attracted to the offerings that we have on site. Area 15 is fast becoming recognized as a premier destination for creators to showcase their intellectual property in a physical location. And the latest that we've announced is the John Wick experience on the campus. The success of Area 15 has led to further interest and expansion of the Area 15 district directly to the north. We envision the district will become a premier immersive entertainment and retail district in the country and even in the world. As our timeline continues, we envision the expanded mixed-use district will include complementary retail, office, and multifamily uses in addition to a hotel.
What is a key hotel?
200 key hotel means a 200-room hotel.
What's the key mean?
Key equals room.
I mean, literally a key, not a card or anything?
Correct, correct.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. So the TID area boundary that we're talking about is shown on this slide in red. It includes the expanded Area 15 district on the southern portion of this area, and we'll grow our mixed uses to the north, and the intent is to create a balanced community here in this district. There is a challenge, though, to developing as we have planned. The location is currently served by aging infrastructure that was designed for lower density uses. There were lots of single-story buildings, and now we're proposing more dense development, additional stories to those buildings. So the development would require an upgrade to this infrastructure, and that upgrade is a major project. So as an example, we have water lines and sewer lines coming from Sahara and from Valley View, and respectively, and those are intensive projects. Additionally, we have some garages planned here. The garages replace surface parking, so we can build buildings where surface parking would have been, put the parking in a garage, and that will allow for more sales tax revenue as tenants occupy those buildings. The goal is to create the biggest return for the project as well as for the city of Las Vegas. And as you know, the first tenant in this expansion is Universal Parks and Resorts Horror Unleashed, as Dina mentioned, and this will be a catalyst for future development. The existing infrastructure could have served the horror concept, as well as the surface parking. However, we'd like to unlock some potential here. We'd like to build the buildings, bring in the infrastructure needed to build the development, and really create this world-renowned destination that will attract out-of-state visitors for years to come. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for the opportunity to present. I can take questions as well.
Thank you. I do remember when the Fisher Brothers Group first came in, actually before my term, and you know, that property sat, and we were just waiting, and this is so exciting, and it's been so exciting. So this is just great news. And so let's turn over questions, comments. We'll start with Councilwoman
Thank you,
Bruni,
Mayor.
please.
I don't have a question. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for your time yesterday answering my many questions. And again, thank you for choosing Las Vegas to do business and to stand up this amazing experience, which I think will be really great for the area, but also the city.
This is exciting. The other is the October Halloween experience is only in Florida. Is that the only one at this point?
They're in Florida and Hollywood right now, but
And
we'll be the
Hollywood.
first one off property, off resort, and new to Vegas.
Awesome. Councilwoman.
Ditto what Councilwoman Bruni said.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's get down. We'll end with Councilwoman Diaz. Any comment here? Yes, please. You have your children ready.
Thank you, Mayor. That's exactly right. I was just going to compliment you, Mr. Sutherland. I think I drive by the project every day. We talked about this multiple times now. The rate of development I thought has been really impressive, and the quality work has been really impressive to drive by and see it. So it's really a privilege to have you stand before us today, because it's so exciting to see what else you're going to do with that area. So thank you for creating attractions for my family. And I was just commenting, I was in an airport yesterday, and multiple people, we were in a group, they were all talking about Area 15. And every person that comes to visit me, Area 15 comes up. So nice job in making it another reason to visit Las Vegas.
Appreciate
And
it.
I
Thank
will
you.
add that you can't see them, but there are deep tears in his face because of the fact Councilwoman Tarkanian, who had Ward 1 in the day with redistricting. And to you, Madam Councilwoman Diaz,
They're
you've
not
got...
tiers, they're daggers.
Oh.
To be clear.
So, but it's so exciting. So with that, no, there are no other further wait.
Mayor Jeff Dorkak, City Attorney, just before we get to Councilwoman Diaz to conclude things, did we open a public hearing and close it?
We could.
Please do for the item. Yep.
It is a public hearing, so anyone who's interested, please come forward, make your comments. Okay, hearing and seeing none, I'll close public comment. Good catch, Mayor, Mr. Attorney down there. Thank you. All right, yours, Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, we can take equal credit, MPT. It's okay. It's initially, this process kind of started, or at least for Area 15, under your watch.
They want 51%.
Yeah. Sorry, I have 100 at this point in my map, but it truly has been really interesting to see the progression and evolution. I remember being newly elected to the council in Area 15, barely kind of coming together, and to see how it has been transformed and how its offerings continue to just increase and augment in this immersive creative art space, I think is very, very cool, because I think it's going to give us a lot of continuity, you know, and kind of putting Las Vegas on the map as the arts city, all kinds of arts included, and I know that this next phase is going to continue to be equally as impactful and transformational. I'm looking also ahead to hopefully having some really great connectivity that lacks in terms of public works, and so I hope that we will definitely revitalize this part of the city and make it a better area for not just tourists, but for even our locals to go, because sometimes we parents can't make the trip out to Universal Studios in Hollywood, but we'll have a concept here that we can explore with our families. And so I think this is awesome. I think we're on the right track, and I can't wait to see how quickly you can accelerate this momentum and this change for the city and for Ward 3. So with that, I'm going to move to approve the resolution and agenda item 43.
There's a motion to approve agenda item 43, and thank you, Ms. Babsky, you did a great job. Unless it fails, which it didn't. Unanimous, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sutherland. All right, on to agenda item 44, recommending committee bills eligible for adoption at this meeting. That's bill number 2024-21. Councilman Knudsen, would you like the bill read?
Yes, Mayor.
Bill number 2024-21, an ordinance to amend various provisions of LVMC Title 19 Unified Development Code to amend regulations governing commercial and industrial uses, including consolidation of uses and other adjustments, and to provide for other related matters.
Move to approve.
There's a motion to approve agenda item 44. Please vote, please post. Motion carries. 45, recommending committee bills eligible for adoption at a later meeting. Items 45 through 48, bills number 223-28, 202-24-22 through 24 will be heard at a later meeting. And we move on to new bills. Bill number 49. Item number 49, bill number 2024-25 will be heard at the recommending committee meeting on Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. City Attorney, would you please read the new bills?
Yes, ma'am. Bill number 2024-25, an ordinance to amend LVMC Chapter 9.4 regarding nuisances to adopt a new section to specifically address administrative warrants in connection with the enforcement of the chapter and to provide for other related matters.
Thank you very much. And we will move on to community development consent. Agenda item 50, item number 50 through 51B are on the consent agenda, considered to be routine, recommended for approval by the Department of Community Development. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you very much. There's a motion. Please vote. And please post. And that motion carries. And fifty-one 240339. We did that already. 52. Okay. Item number 52 through 54 may be considered one motion, one vote, as they are routine items with no condition changes. Any person representing an application or member of the public or member of the council not in agreement with the conditions and all standard conditions for the applications recommended by staff should request to have that item removed from this portion of the agenda. 52240046, applicant owner NV Energy on the following land use entitlement project requests on 14.83 acre portion of 38.20 acres at 10625 Moccasin Road, Ward 6, with Councilwoman Bruni. Number 52A 240046 GPA1 from PCD Plan Community Development to PF Public Facility. Number 52B 240046 EOM1 from U1 Development PCD Plan Community Development General Plan Designation to CV Civic. Number 52C 240046 SDR1 for a major amendment to an approved site development plan review SDR 34710 for the proposed expansion of an existing electric unit substation. Number 53 240338 RQR1 applicant Clear Channel Outdoor owner B. Lance Miller, Marianne Miller et al. On a land use entitlement project request for required review of an approved special use permit U-003990 for a 55-foot tall 14 by 48-foot off-premise sign not qualifying as the city communication sign at 3700 East Charleston Boulevard, C1 Limited Commercial Zone, Ward 3, with Councilwoman Diaz. Number 54240358 RQR1 applicant Clear Channel Outdoor owner B2 LLC land use entitlement project request for a required review of an approved variance V0046-89 that allowed a 40-foot tall 14-foot by 48-foot off-premise sign not qualifying as the city communication sign at 3820 West Sahara C1 Limited Commercial Zone, Ward 1, with Councilman Knudsen. Planning Commission and staff recommend, and staff recommend approval of all items. These are public hearings which I declare open. Anyone wishing to be heard on items 52 through 54. Goodness, the stars are aligned. Hearing and seeing none, I'll close public hearing. Mayor Pro Tem, may I have a motion for the one motion, one vote items, please?
Move to approve one motion, one vote items.
Thank you. Please, let's vote. Are we having a good thing? Well, orally, let's go. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. And we are now on to agenda item 55 has been obeyed to the, no, it was, oh, we want to hear it. Okay. Thank you. Agenda item 55, 230595, public hearing, applicant Summit Homes of Nevada LLC, owner FF Series Holdings LLC, for possible action on the following land use entitlement project request for 1.99 acres northeast corner of Bill Parr Road and Tenaya Way, APM 125-22. 801-011 in Ward 6 with Councilwoman Bruni. Planning Commission with a 7-0 vote, and staff, recommend denial on the land use entitlement project. So at this point, let me turn it over to Councilwoman, or planning. We'll start with planning.
Good morning,
I
Madam.
gave you breathing time. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Mayor. Peter Lowenstein for the record. The density intensity of the proposed general plan amendment is out of character and not compatible with the existing adjacent rural density residential types of development and the land use designations, as well as the proposed tentative map design is dependent upon granting of variances. As such, staff cannot support the proposed applications and recommends denial of the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there a representative of Summit Homes in Nevada here? Please come forward and make your comments. Okay, any questions, comments from council before I turn this over to Councilwoman Bruni? Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Can I ask our planning team to just walk through the process of this item as it moved through the Planning Commission? Because I know that they've asked for an abeyance today to have this heard, but there were several abeyances as the item moved through Planning Commission. So could we just review that, please, Mr. Lowenstein?
Sure, through you, Madam Mayor. So the entitlement process starts with a pre-application conference, which then an item is then scheduled for a Planning Commission meeting. This particular project was originally scheduled for the January 9th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting. It had since been held in abeyance a total of 4 times and was acted upon by the Planning Commission on July 9th of 2024. Their action was a recommendation for denial in line with staff's recommendation. It is now before City Council for its hearing. As mentioned, there was a request by the applicant for an abeyance. That request at this point, I guess, is not being granted.
Well, they have no representation here, so that's moot.
Thank you. So I want to thank the applicant and just also thank the neighbors. This project has been sort of on my docket for probably the last year. I formally went to Planning Commission in January of this year. As both the Planning Commission and the neighbors and our planning team has said, this is a project that is not harmonious and compatible with the neighborhood. The UNLV rodeo team actually practices or has their property adjacent to this parcel of land. Over the process, we have received over 160 postcards and form stacks in opposition to this project. And so I'm going to make a motion to...
And if you'll hold off on that, because I don't think I invited the public, if there's anyone here to make comment, because it is a public hearing item. And then seeing none, the public hearing's closed, just to make sure I've covered all the bases. Thank you. Back to you for your motion.
Okay. So at this time, I'm prepared to make a motion to deny item 5523-00595.
Thank you very much. It's a motion to deny. Please vote and please post. And that motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, item 56 through 56E, 240269, following land use entitlement project request from 4.14 acres northeast corner of Ann Road and Rebecca Road. 56A, 240269, GPA 1 from DR Desert Rural Density Residential to L Low Density Residential. 56B, 24026901, from RE Residence Estates to R1 Single Family Residential. 56C, 240269 VR1 to allow a 1.00 connectivity ratio. 1.30 is the minimum required, and allow a modified shared use trail design on the north side of Ann Road, east of Rebecca Road. 56D, 240269 VR2 to allow 6-foot retaining walls where 4 feet is the maximum height required, and a combined perimeter wall height of 12 feet where 10 feet is the maximum allowed. 56E, 240269 TMP1, Ann and Rebecca, for a proposed 17-lot single-family residential subdivision. Applicant owner Sequoia Ann Road JV LLC. The Planning Commission recommends approval of the entire land use entitlement project. Staff recommends denial. These are in Ward 6 with Councilwoman Bruni. Are public hearings which I declare open. Is the applicant or representative present?
I am. Good morning, Madam Mayor, council members. My name is Tony Celeste, address 1980 Festival Plaza Drive, here on behalf of the applicant. As you can see from the overhead, our site is highlighted here in yellow. It is located on the north side of Ann Road and what would be the east side of the Rebecca Road alignment. The site currently has some dilapidated houses and sheds on it that would be totally removed and replaced with our proposed development here. What we have before you are really two main components to this application, the first being a general plan amendment with the corresponding zone change, and the second being the site development plan review. So I'll address each one of those right now. First, with respect to our general plan amendment and zone change, it is currently planned DR, or desert rural. We are asking to go to the low density along with the corresponding zone change from RE to R1. As you will see when I get into the next aspect of this application with respect to the site plan review, we are proposing 17 homes on 4.1 acres. That works out to a density of about 4.1 units to the acre. We believe that is compatible with the area. I've highlighted at least two particular developments in the area. One is the Stonewater Canyon. It is built out under what was the prior zoning code of RPD3, which would allow about 3.5 units to the acre. Immediately to our southwest is the Timber Creek development. That is at RPD4, which would allow about 4.5 units to the acre. As I said, ours is about 4.1 units to the acre, so we feel we're compatible from density. Also, with respect to proposed lot sizes, again, which you will see in a second, the Stonewater Canyon community, those lot sizes range from about 7,000 square feet to 10,000. The Timber Creek range from about 5,200 square feet to 13,000 square feet. Our proposed lot sizes are in about 6,900 square feet to 10,000 square feet. So again, we think very compatible with the lot sizes that I've outlined here. So for those reasons, we do believe a general plan amendment to low and the corresponding zone change to R1 are compatible. With respect to our site plan review, you can see right here we do have the 17 lots on the site here. It is a cul-de-sac that terminates to the north. We are landlocked with respect to where else we can take access. We have development on two sides of us, the west and the north, and then private property along our eastern property line. So the only access point is at this point along Ann Road, where we will have our 17 lots. This does get into some of the technical issues with respect to our variances. One is the connectivity ratio. As you can see, we really only have one access point, so we are asking to reduce that ratio to the one. The second portion, or the second aspect, is with respect to the trail along the Ann Road right here. We already have existing improvements on the site. You can see that up and down Ann Road, there are already infrastructure there with a detached sidewalk. We would like to keep the existing infrastructure and provide the landscaping behind the sidewalk, between the sidewalk and our proposed entry wall. On the west side, we have a 20-foot wide easement that we can do landscaping in, so we'd have a 5-foot wide sidewalk, and behind that 20 feet of landscaping. As you can see, the geometry of the site is not a perfect square. It does go a little bit it does get a little bit narrower here at the eastern portion. So at that portion, we're still providing landscaping. We'll have the 5-foot attached sidewalk along with 8 feet of landscaping behind that. One of the other issues that we have with the site, you can see right here, little hatch mark through the site, and then back through here. We do have existing easements, power easements, utility easements, telephone easements on the property that do encumber it. We cannot get rid of the easements, but we can relocate the easements. So they are currently right here, what would bisect the portions of our backyard. We're going to shift it to the west, along this property line, a 5-foot wide easement, a 5-foot wide easement along the north property line, and a 5-foot wide easement along the east property line. We would have gates on both sides to protect the area. It would be HOA maintained so that the HOA can maintain this area. Finally, and there is a condition with respect to forming the HOA in the conditions of approval, which we agree to. And last but not least, we also agreed, we are proposing all single-story homes in the area. You can see right here a couple of the renderings. There was an added condition at Planning Commission that this be developed out all at once, one-story, single-family residential, and we do agree with that condition and request that condition be carried over from Planning Commission. We appreciate Planning Commission's approval and respectfully request yours. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Wonderful. Let's turn it over to planning, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Peter Lowenstein for the record. The applicant is proposing this project as an infill development, which is generally supported by the Las Vegas 2050 master plan. However, the increase in density and intensity of use is not appropriate for and incompatible with the rural character of this area. Additionally, the proposed grading of the site creates the developer's request to deviate from Title 19 wall standards and will negatively impact existing adjacent development. In view of the absence of any hardships imposed by the site's physical characteristics, it's concluded that the applicant's hardship is preferential in nature and is thereby outside the realm of NRS Chapter 278 for granting of variances. The proposed tentative map complies with NRS and the minimum requirements set forth in Title 19 for tentative maps. However, as the Associated General Plan Amendment, rezoning and multiple variances, the Title 19 requirements are not supported by staff. Staff recommends denial of the tentative map, subject to conditions if approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It is public hearing. Anyone interested in making comments to or suggestions, whatever, on item number 56 and 56A through E, please come forward, state your name for the record. Hearing and seeing none, I'm going to close public hearing and turn this over to you, Councilwoman. Unless there are comments, questions here, we are silent. It's yours, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to start by thanking the developer, Tyler Whitney. I think this is his second project in Ward 6, and I think he's done a great job consistently finding those infill parcels. And so I think we're meeting a couple of needs here by providing more housing, but also taking advantage of those or trying to leverage the infill spaces. And the product, as you've seen from the rendition, is beautiful. So thank you, and with that, I will make a motion to approve item 56 24-0269.
Thank you, and that's A through E.
A through E.
Thank you very much. This motion to approve, please vote and please post. Well done. Motion carries. Thank you.
Great, I appreciate it. Thank you. Guys have a great day.
Great. Thank you. We're on to agenda item 57. Reports and presentations. Report by Arcelia Barajas, who I thought is back. You're back. That was a horribly short time away. Neighborhood Services Director regarding strategies to increase affordable housing inventory, preserving existing affordable units, and enhancing housing and supportive services for the homeless in the city. Reference all wars. Welcome back.
Good morning. Arcelia Barajas, Director of Neighborhood Services, for the record. So I'm here today to kind of give you an update on our affordable housing strategies for neighborhood services. And this is a little misleading because it's really affordable housing will include some of our homeless services because we consider that to be support for housing for our guests. So just really quick to get started. So what we consider affordable, there's a lot of definitions out there for affordable housing. We've adopted the 80% of area medium income rule, and so we consider individuals who are 80% or below area medium income to be in need of affordable housing. And so right now the median family income for this area is $87,800. And if you can see on this chart, the 80% is on the bottom, so it's $53,350 for a single individual. So right now, that's what someone has to be earning a year to be eligible for our affordable housing products for the most part. Another component of that is the 30%, and so I think we don't focus on this very much, but a lot of people are considered cost burden because they're paying more than 30% of their income towards housing. And so if someone is paying more than 30% of their income towards housing, they are having an issue with housing. And so we try to figure out how to support them to get into something where they're able to pay less than 30% to ensure that they're able to have their funds for food and groceries and electricity, utilities, and all those other things. So this is gap shortage. This is a previous report that went out in 2003, and this report kind of gives us an idea of how housing cost burden impacts all of the different gaps. And so if you can see the very first one on the left-hand side, extremely low income, so that's 0 to 30% of area median income. These are considered the very, very low income individuals, and this is a percentage of individuals that are cost burdened or severely cost burdened. So as you can see, as we go into the next categories, it does start to decline, but still even in the 80 to 100% of the median income, there are still individuals that are significantly cost burdened or severely cost burdened. And so on the second chart, you will see that per 100 renter households, so currently we have 14 available units for individuals that are 30% or below. They're the extremely low income individuals. So a lot of our affordable housing products do focus on this category because they are the ones that are struggling to find something affordable. As it goes up on the chart, you can see that there are more units available for the other income categories. But again, 80, 30, 50, and 80 still struggle to find something affordable here in our region. So with that, I want to share with you some of the strategies that we've been working towards for the last couple of years. So we came up with these a little bit before COVID, and some of the things based on some of the data that I just mentioned that Neighborhood Services has been working on. So we've been trying to expand the inventory of affordable housing rental units. We've also put a big emphasis on preserving long-term affordable and maintenance of existing affordable housing units, and we do that through one of our SHIFT programs, and I'll speak to a little bit more about that. And then enhanced housing and associated support services. So these are some of the services we provide to our courtyard guests. And then diversifying alternative funding sources and partnerships. And so with that, I wanted to give you kind of an overview first before I start talking about our programs and some of our initiatives. And you can see here kind of some of the investments the city has made. This is from 2021 to 2024 in all of these different products or services or programs related to housing. And so if you can see on the unhoused and emergency shelter category, the city has spent $92,113,573. The transitional housing and permanent supportive housing, these have a lot of different names out in the world right now. The people call it supportive housing, rapid rehousing, transitional housing, housing stability. So there's a lot of different names for these categories, but really that's what it is. It's transitional, short-term, medium-term housing. We've spent $60,326,539 in these two categories. And then as we move over to the affordable rental housing and affordable home ownership, our investment starts to decline a little bit. This is mainly our affordable housing development, so our programs that we do to support our rental products. That's $20,175 with 24 cents, and then or $24. And then the last one is market rental and then market rate home ownership. Again, these are kind of the services that we support individuals to preserve existing housing. So what we're trying to do is prevent individuals from becoming homeless so that they don't enter our continuum, and then it costs a lot more for us to serve. So that's $1,168,204, and this is all, for the most part, from 2021 to 2024. So the total is $173,783,340, and this is what we've spent as a city for the last couple of years on housing services.
Now, excuse me if I may, Ms. Barajas.
Yes.
The 173 is our funding, not federal or state.
It does include some of our federal funding sources that
Okay.
come directly to us through our entitlement grants.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
So And I'll share a little bit about that here. So we'll start with the first categories, the unhoused. So some of the services, like I mentioned, that we provide at the courtyard, we consider that housing. People sleep at the courtyard. Also, some of the services like the Arrow and our outreach teams are there to support individuals to become housed. So this is kind of the very far end of the spectrum, but we do consider it support for housing. And so as you can see, we've spent $66,623,866 in the last 3 years. This includes the caveat here, this does include the courtyard construction. So the 26 million of construction didn't happen in 2021, but we wanted to make sure that we share that because that's a significant investment from the city to support these programs. But everything else is from 2021, including the operations. The total amount of individuals, and that's not on here, but I just wanted to share that we've served at the courtyard, whether it's overnight stays or another service that they've accessed, is 16,350 from 2021 to 2023. The next category is our emergency shelter. So this is, for us, this is our flexible housing programs, our recuperative care center. I'm sorry, not our flexible housing. This is our non-congregate housing. So we have two separate housing stability programs. One of them is what we call non-congregate, so it is emergency, and those are usually our Seagull Suites or just our transitional stays for a day or two until we're able to get them, for example, into some of our more medium-term programming or supportive housing. And so this total includes our recuperative care center, and we've spent $25,489,707 on that. At the recuperative care center since its inception, which is right around 2020-21 when we started getting our COVID dollars, we've seen 1,001 guests. And both of these numbers are unique guests, so we do have probably a higher number of total guests, but these are individuals that come back. So the numbers I'm reporting are unique.
At some point, could I interrupt you here and ask you at some point, no rush, can you map where these different, where you've got the 16,000, where they are clustered if they are, and how much the county has helped with anything or any other municipality? But if you just a map that shows where they are placed.
Yep, we can do that.
At some point.
Yes. Okay, so the next category was our transitional housing. So that's what we call it housing stability, flexible housing, and so this is our master lease programs, our second chance employment program that is also connected to housing. And then some of the fundings we provide annually to our nonprofit providers and partners for rapid rehousing. And so we've spent $4,354,322. Next is our permanent supportive housing. We consider this more homeless prevention. As you can see here, our NSP program is included in here. Again, this program is also one of the programs that did not, we didn't start it in 2021 to now, but I wanted to share this because this is a product that we have. I think we still have about 60 homes in this program that are currently being operated by the Housing Authority for us. So they provide housing to individuals that come to the Housing Authority through their queue and their application process for homes. And this program actually generates right around $200,000 annually for rental income. So the Housing Authority does charge 30% of individuals' income on these homes, and so that gets returned to us through our program income for our grant funds. The next one is the Rafter CHAP, and this is the large influx of funding that we got from ERA, through the ERA or through the federal government when we had the housing issues and through COVID. And so altogether, including the funding that we provide to public service allocations, this is probably our largest awards to public service programming, and a lot of it is through our HOPWA programs. Our HOPWA, which is Housing Opportunities for Persons with AIDS, does provide permanent housing support, so individuals can remain in this housing indefinitely, as long as they meet the requirements. So the total for that was $55,972,217. And then we start going into our affordable rental housing products, and so here's through 21 to June 24, here's some of our affordable housing developments that we have supported. So we had, at that time, I think we've come to council since then, but the 503 units we had of affordable housing that were pending approval. We have 95 new units and 200 rehab units that are awarded and in some part of the construction process. And then we have 227 new units and 131 rehab that have been completed between 2021 and 2024. Part of this also includes our the funding that we provide also includes private activity bonds. So most of this funding will be our home investment partnership funding. It'll be our redevelopment set aside. It'll be our state pass-through home funding. And so I'll speak to those financing sources in a minute, but this is all of the funding that the city has awarded to these projects. I also included our BLM projects. I had previously briefed on these, so we have the Roman Decatur, which just had a grand opening or ribbon cutting. We have Jordanville and Hickam that is in Councilman Polinsky's ward, and we're working towards that RFP right now. We have a pending RFP for Tropical Parkway in Councilman Polinsky's ward, and then we have a RFP in Ontanea, which is in Councilman Knutson's ward, that we're currently in the scoring process. And so total investments on our affordable rental housing, we have at $17,947,629. And then here's some of the things that we're doing to try to address barriers. HUD has placed a big emphasis on local municipalities to really figure out ways that they can support affordable housing development by preventing the barriers or providing incentives. And so our planning department did recently pass some incentives, some bonus, height, density. Marco is here with Seth, and so if you have any questions regarding that, they are happy to answer that for you. Another investment that the city has made, this is our infill land cost. So we purchased infill land mainly in the historic west side, and to date we did an appraisal evaluation of it, and this is what it's worth. So it's $2,087,395, and we're working on putting out RFPs, and this is kind of our investment to some of these projects to help developers so that they can make sure that their projects can meet or function without them having to have a loss. And so here's some additional opportunities that we've identified to address the barriers. So for example, investing in infrastructure and neighborhood improvements. So what some communities are doing is that they're getting the land ready for the developer so that when they come in to bid, these are lessened costs for them. And so we're able to use, for example, CDBG. It does support these type of expenses so that we can support the development projects in that way. Also the conversion of commercial properties to housing, and then relaxing policies related to ADUs, and then of course inclusionary housing policies. So for affordable home ownership, we haven't been doing very much. We've been focusing a lot on just the 30% and below, but we have been having conversations. We're discussing a partnership with Habitat for Humanity to support, so they can support us with some of our infill land and providing, single-family housing and first-time home ownership for individuals that meet eligible requirements. We are also discussing a down payment assistance program with our home funds. And then land trusts. We've had several discussions, but there is a significant startup cost, so that's kind of in the future for us. Right now, that's not something that we have funding to support, but we have it on our list of things to bring forward. And then market rate rentals. So, we talk a lot about affordable housing and they just brought to you, Randy just brought to you the 120, going up to 120 on some of those products, and so are some of our incentives. And so we do recognize that affordable housing and workforce housing can go up to 120. Some places are saying that it can go up to 180 now. And so an example of a partnership that we've done to support market rate is the Share Downtown West Side, which is a Sam Cherry project in the historic West Side. And so RDA has supported that project. Again, inclusionary zoning, workforce housing. And then another thing that we're exploring is our NSP homes are actually going to be coming out of affordability in the next 3 to 5 years, and so we're discussing opportunities to whether we leave it in the program or we dedicate this to workforce housing, so bringing in individuals that may be able to pay 30% of their income, but may not be necessary of affordable or meet low income requirements. So those are some of the things we have going on for market rate. So one of the market rate home ownership programs that we have is the SHIFT program, our Safe Home Improvements Funding and Training. And so this includes the code enforcement program that we have in partnership with Community Development, the Civil Penalty Fund, and we have CDBG funds that support rehab, and then the lead-based paint testing and remediation. So these programs help individuals, mainly seniors and individuals that are disabled, to be able to remain in their home, housed and safe. And so we prevent them from entering the homeless continuum and system. And so far, from 2021 to 2024, we spent $1,168,204. Some of this, the civil penalty fund is city funding, but the other two are federal grant funds.
Thank you.
So here are some of our financing tools that we use to support all of our programs. The Home Investment Partnership Program, this program is direct, this is our entitlement amount, so we receive approximately $2.1 million a year in the home program, so this supports our affordable housing developers. We also have the State Home and Account for Affordable Housing Trust Fund, so these are awards to us from the state. We receive about $1.5 million every year. These two programs support individuals at or below 80% of area median income. The Home American Rescue Plan Act, so this is some ARP funding that we received. We received around $8 million. The RFP went out. We're in the scoring process. This particular funding source, even though it's considered home funding, does cap at 30%. So our housing has to be for developers that are going to bring housing that's 30% or below AMI. Additional funding tools that we have is the Community Development Block Grant. So although this is not a program that supports housing, as I mentioned earlier, it can support with doing some infrastructure work. It supports with planning and design, engineering, and it can also support to buy land for our developers. So we receive, our annual allocation is over $5 million, but some of that goes to public service, administrative costs, and other requirements, and so we have probably about $2 million left every year in this funding source to support capital projects. And then we have the redevelopment set aside. That's also a city, that's our 9% set aside that we get from the RDA. And this one we use to support workforce housing up to 120, so we support projects. This one doesn't have income requirements, so we're able to be a little bit more flexible. We use it to fill gaps for some of our developers, but we also sometimes use it to support some of our housing and stability programs as well. Okay, so the 9% and the 4% credits, although they aren't city projects, we don't get an entitlement amount of the 9%. However, in order for developers to receive these funds, they do require a letter from the city of support and a letter from their council member wherever their project is. So we do get a say in how this funding source is allocated. This one supports individuals mainly at 60% or below AMI. We don't have enough of it, but this is one of those projects or incentives that can fund a development project up to 70% of the equity of it. So it's very competitive. The 4% not as competitive. It usually will fund maybe up to 30% of a development, so not as competitive, but still available. We actually get an allocation from the state. This last year we got right around $38 million. We usually never get enough applications for this because it's not as competitive and it's not, sometimes it requires payback and stuff, and so, but we did have 2 projects that went forward in this year using these funds, or these credits, sorry. So those are all the financing sources that we as a city have to support affordable housing development, and I just wanted to share with you some of our continued strategies. So housing safety and preservation, that is coming up in our list of priorities just because we are noticing that we have a lot of seniors that are being placed out of their housing, for safety issues, and so they end up entering the continuum, and what we find is it's really hard to find housing for individuals that are disabled or seniors, so we want to do everything we can to keep them housed now. So some of the things we're doing, we're expanding our strategy to not rely so much on federal funds, so partnering with investors and banks to figure out how we can work together to bring some projects to the community. We're trying to do more in the policy and regulatory reform, so we're working with Randy and the coalition, community development to really figure out how we can remove those barriers. We're expanding our collaborations and dialogue with the Housing Authority and the state to talk about additional housing resources or how we can influence, for example, the 9% tax credit allocations, and then continue to identify creative and innovative approaches for productivity and building faster. So with that, I know that was a lot, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, that was outstanding, an outstanding comprehensive report that is so open-ended to hours of questions, follow through, and but you've done a remarkable job here. I think it's fantastic, and certainly we'll start with you, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you very much for the presentation. I was just going to comment for the rest of the team up here. We were in Tulsa just yesterday, and we had representatives from North Las Vegas, Henderson, the county, the state of Nevada, and I was going to comment on your leadership because there was, Sabra was there as well, but everyone else was looking to the city of Las Vegas to kind of guide and think what our regional approach, because we all have pieces and parts of this. So thank you for your leadership in this space, because I believe it's going to be you and the city team that kind of pulls along everybody else within our region. So thank you for doing that.
And I would add to that, Mayor Karen Bass really is looking at us as well with the reports. This is, it's phenomenal. So Councilwoman Diaz, yes, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, having to manage all of these areas and the continuum of care, and then our residents, and all of the, this is not an easy lift, so I want to sing praises to Department of Neighborhood Services, because I know that you know your stuff, and you're helping us push as hard as we can, as fast as we can, and chase as many resources as possible to bring that investment into our communities. But I did want to take this moment also to acknowledge the work that you're doing to try to keep people housed if they're currently in a home, but the home is not safe anymore. It's happening a lot to our seniors who are on fixed incomes, where they're not able to keep certain things afloat because of being on a fixed income, but finding those partners to make sure that we rehab the homes, to make sure that they continue to be housed, because some of them are in their forever home, and it's a really difficult scenario to try to then figure out where you can place them once they're displaced. So I love how we're also trying to be ahead instead of always constantly chasing and being behind. And I just also want to thank you for the SHIFT program that is basically aimed at helping that, but sometimes we can't offer all the help, and then you go to community partners like Rebuilding Together and others to find solutions for folks that are in a hard spot. And sometimes going through life without an AC unit, or sometimes going through life not using certain things because they're cost prohibitive. So I just wanted to thank you guys, and I know today you will host an informational session for the community out of East Las Vegas Library, so I hope that the community takes advantage of being informed of everything that we are all trying to do to help each other.
Thank you.
Okay. Any comments, questions here? Yes, Councilwoman Bruni.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to also start by saying our city is so lucky to have you. It's clear based on your years of experience that you truly understand the ecosystem and all the gaps. So I think from what Councilman Knudsen said, it's clear that everybody else is also looking to you and to the city. So thank you for that. I have a couple of questions. You mentioned the money to purchase the infill parcels. Is that with RDA money? So does it have to be in an RDA region or area to do that?
So it's not all, it's RDA and CDBG. So, you know, different parcels were purchased throughout the years with whatever funding sources we had available at the time. So some of them are CDBG, some of them are RDA. And just to clarify, the $2 million is not, it's not what it cost us to purchase them, because we always try to get them through like the county register and things like that. So it was a lot less. This is what they're worth now.
Okay, okay. So in theory, it would be possible to purchase one of those infill parcels in Ward 6 or some of the areas that aren't wards 1, 3, and 5, essentially?
Yeah, with RDA, yes. With CDBG, it becomes more complicated because it has to be in an eligible census tract.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay. And then my second question is, we have so many programs. If suddenly the city came into a windfall, where would you advise that we direct more funding because that programs or that area is kind of more effective in supporting the needs of the housing ecosystem?
Yeah, I think affordable rental housing, I think we have all of our programs do a great job at case managing and getting people ready to move into something on their own, but unfortunately, most of the time, they're not going to be able to earn an income that will meet the requirements of a market rate. And so we have people in some of our permanent supportive housing programs that are going to be there indefinitely or until they have some kind of changes in their income that will allow them then to pay. So definitely the development of affordable housing, but also in our existing programs, like what we found is that what we have at the courtyard right now is a lot of seniors, a lot of people with disabilities that need higher levels of care, and they're there because there's nothing out in the community for them to go, nowhere for them to go, right? So there's not enough licensed nursing facilities, there's not enough licensed group homes that will take these individuals, and so those are two of the gaps that we're now identifying. After so many years of courtyard operations, we can get families out quickly, we can get individuals that have income or jobs and are able to kind of be mobile and take care of themselves into some kind of housing eventually. But what we have there now is, it looks like almost like a skilled nursing facility. You have a lot of people on walkers, we've got blind people that have come to the courtyard, so those kind of two categories are what we're looking at right now and figuring out how do we move forward with that.
Okay. And then my last question is, you mentioned some potential policy tools that we're not using, maybe other cities are using. What policy tools would you recommend we start exploring based on what you're hearing from your peers or what you hear is working?
Yeah, well, I think, the bonuses and incentives that the city implemented, I think we were the first in the region to do that, so I think those are great tools that they're using. And also just being creative. For us, it's figuring out ways to increase that affordable housing stock. So I think I mentioned, purchasing buildings that are vacant or, commercial to make into housing. There's a lot of zoning and requirements that come into play with that, so those are things that maybe we would have to have more discussions about, but also the ADUs, also the smaller, easier and quicker to make products is what we've been exploring. And not that long ago there was a conference on some of that, and we had some developers or owners of some of these different type of products. And so I think as a region we kind of are starting to explore what it looks like, because it's hard to provide funding to a developer and then something's not up and running for another 2 to 3 years. And so those that are ADUs are easy, different materials that are quicker and sturdy and still provide what we need is something else that we could look into. And we've been having conversations with Seth and his team. They've been doing a really good job at working with one of our local providers now, Neighborhood Housing Services, who is interested in bringing in a developer from out of town with a special product, and so something that we haven't had here in the past. So he's been working with them to figure out what are the requirements that they need to meet in order to bring that product here. So.
Yes, Councilwoman Seaman.
I just want to reiterate what my colleague said, that you're doing a great job. I just have a question on, you say we're getting a lot of these infill parcels from the county. Is that through auction, or
So
are we
haven't
active in
recently,
the
but we
auctions?
did get a lot of them through, I think it's through, we get a first pick at properties that are maybe repossessed because they're vacant, or, the owners haven't paid taxes or fines or fees.
And is the RCBG more like the opportunity zones? Is that the areas you say it's eligible census? Is it like opportunity zone area?
Kind of. So the census tracts have to be, the income for the average income for the census tract has to be below 50% AMI. And so once that, an area hits that, it becomes an eligible census tract.
All right, well, thank you.
Well, again, to reiterate, thank you for the report, very comprehensive. And I know while you plan for the future, which has to be, and maybe learn from others, or as they're looking at us, the here and now is critical. and to take care of it, and the fear of Social Security being jeopardized. It just makes the plan for the future critical, but you're doing just wonderfully, and I think this report is so complete as to where we are looking at it today. So thank you, Arcelia, and hope that everything you're learning as you share it with council is so important. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to setting the date on city clerk. Madam, if we could ask you, set the public hearing dates, appeals from the city planning commission meetings, dangerous building, nuisance letter abatements.
Will do, thank you.
And then we will go to our second and final citizen participation, and that's agenda item 59. With public comment during the portion of the agenda must be limited to the matters within the jurisdiction of the city council. No subject may be acted upon by the council unless the subject is on the agenda scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium, give your name for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, may be limited. It's your opportunity to address council, but council will not respond or engage in dialogue. So is there anyone? And we will set the time at 3 minutes, please. Yes.
Hello, City
Good morning.
Hello, my name is Michael Mijatovic, for the record. So today I just came to talk because I felt that we're in an important time right now, and the election is coming up very shortly. And I just feel that it's very important that we have the right person leading this country. I feel that we're really given two options right now, and we have a very selfish leader, for one, and we have a very selfless leader, one who actually sticks up for people and sticks up for middle and working class people who deserve a better life and deserve a better way of being treated. Someone like Trump is constantly making fun of people like immigrants, people who identify as LGBTQ and trans, and he's constantly talking about wanting to take our rights away from women, about making choices for their own bodies. And he is the one who keeps bragging about having taken away this right by getting the Supreme Court to agree with them. He's talked about wanting to weaponize the Justice Department against who he considers enemies and political opposition and traitors. He's talked about moving closer to working with countries like China and Russia, which have proved to be exceedingly dangerous in recent years, and taking away ties with all the countries in NATO, which would be terrible for our alliances and for our position on the global stage. He wants to bring an economy that would only support the rich and upper class and the wealthy elitists, and not the lower and middle class, and therefore he would just be supporting those who would be so selfish, and instead of those who would be selfless workers for a good cause, especially people who go throughout their lives of not being known by so many, but yet do such great work anyways. Kamala Harris is the only one who truly seems to care at all about the environment. Trump just makes it seem as if it's not that big of a problem and that it really doesn't need to be dealt with, which I feel that it couldn't be any more of a bigger problem right now for the amount of global devastation that we've been seeing throughout all the different countries and the excessive heat. And Kamala Harris, I believe, speaks to liberty, freedom, and democracy. And Trump is really only a liar who speaks for donors and for those who would support him. And we need someone in this country right now leading who's going to be able to support those who lives matter just as much as the billionaires and the very wealthy do. And someone like Trump can't see it, but Kamala Harris can see it. And I believe she really is the best and only option for this country that we need right now. So thank you.
With 2 seconds to spare, did you know that? Awesome. Thank you for coming down. Anyone else? Okay, I'm going to close. Oh, are you coming up? Yeah. Please do.
Good morning, Mayor and the council. My name is Jay Hicks, and for the record, I really want to comment and make it short and brief. Comment on agenda item number 43. I'm excited for that, actually, because I've never been to Universal Studios before, and I think having one here is actually really good. But can we actually gatekeep for the locals? Because I really want to go, and I really want to be the first one to go. So gatekeeping it for the locals and not for the tourists. But no, I'm just joking. Anyways, bye.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anyone else? I'll close our second and final public comment. And now we're into emerging issues. Do I look down, Councilwoman, any emerging issue? No? No, all calm. How about this way? Well, you're saved again, it looks like. Lucky you. All right, we will now move on. No emerging issues. And now we will have council member recognition. And we're going to start this time with Mayor Pro Tem, because he almost fell asleep on me right there. You go first.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As the slides are coming up, I didn't almost fall asleep.
It's all right.
I'm very much here and awake. But we are, I'm going to comment for a second on Ward 3, because on Fremont Street between 6th and 7th Street, the city of Las Vegas freshly repainted Abbey Road, and Paul Casey reminds me every year of the Beatles and their time here in Las Vegas. And yesterday was the 60th anniversary of the Beatles in Las Vegas. So if you get a chance to go visit Ward 3, it's always fun down there in Ward 3, and you get to see Abbey Road and the repainting of Abbey Road, thanks to the city of Las Vegas and Paul Casey. And next up, I have a Brews with Brian. It's Saturday, August 35th. Oh, excuse me. I am tired.
The 35th.
It's not the 35th.
Whoa.
It's 31st. It's 9 to 10 a.m. It's at the Starbucks on 470 South Decatur Boulevard. I'd love to have you come out and chat with us about your issues, concerns, and hopes for Ward 1. And it is National Senior Citizens Day. 1988, President Ronald Reagan signed a proclamation to signify the day as a celebration towards senior citizens, as he had stated, for all they have achieved throughout life and for all they continue to accomplish. We owe older citizens our thanks and a heartfelt salute. And I have many of the senior centers in Ward 1, and so it's always fun for me to talk with them, chat with them, and remind myself that they are the ones who built Las Vegas. And so really grateful for all the seniors out there. And feel free to reach out to me any way you like. And thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And one day you'll be a senior. Not for a long time, but one day. Okay, Councilwoman Diaz.
All right, thank you, Madam Mayor. We'll start off with things that happened August 8th. On August 8th, we had a senior safety presentation at City Impact Senior Apartments, and I just want to take a moment to thank Downtown Area Command Crime Prevention Specialist Denise Stride for giving seniors at City Impact an extremely entertaining and informational public safety presentation. Seniors learned how to protect themselves and neighbors while home and out in public. And Ms. Stride also shared some phone and internet scams that heavily target our seniors and how they need to be aware of these. So thank you, DTAC and Ms. Stride, for helping keep our seniors safe. Also on the 8th, we had the honor of attending the unveiling of a powerful new mural titled From Pixels to Purpose, and it was authored by Nancy Good at my alma mater, Rancho High School. And this was all through Art UK programming that the city supports, and also our First Friday Foundation is very invested in collaborating and making sure that we're putting murals in our schools, but that the programming is also geared to the mental health of our incoming freshmen. So I think about somewhere about 20 to 30 freshmen participated in healing sessions and the power of art and creativity. And through this beautiful work, we acknowledge the challenges we all face, but most importantly, we celebrated our strength and resiliency that should overcome all obstacles that come our way. So again, a special thanks to our wonderful City of Las Vegas Office of Cultural Affairs staff, Recycled Propaganda, the Canarelli Family Foundation, Park West Gallery, RTC Bike Share, all contributing artists, and of course, our wonderful Rancho High School community. Thank you for coming together to make this work possible during the summer. On August 9th, we had a Casa de Luz back-to-school event in the Gateway neighborhood, and about 150 children of the area came to take part in all of the fun and festivities. So again, thank you, Maggie at Casa de Luz, your amazing staff, and of course, our wonderful officers at Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Downtown Area Command, and South Central Area Commands for helping create strong bonds with our youth and our families before they started the school year. The City of Las Vegas and our Ward 3 office was proud to contribute school supplies and ensure that students were well prepared for the first day of school. And I want to thank all the many sponsors that also poured in to make this a very successful event. On August 12th, the Broken Yoke Cafe cut their ribbon officially. They were open, soft opening prior to that, but I was excited to welcome them, Broken Yoke Cafe, to the downtown in our wonderful city. And while this is the 4th location in Southern Nevada, it is the very first in the city of Las Vegas. So we're so excited they're going to be offering our residents and visitors a delectable breakfast and lunch offering. On August 15th, we had artist Justin Favela, one of our Las Vegas native sons, who hosted an artist talk and reception, and it was a huge success at the East Las Vegas Community Center. Thank you, Justin, for taking us on your artistic journey that spans exhibitions across the U.S. and internationally. Favela is an award-winning mixed media artist known for making large-scale installations and sculptures in the piñata style or medium. His work references pop culture, art history, society, cultural commentary, and his own Guatemalan, Mexican, American heritage that is rooted in growing up in East Las Vegas. You can still view works by Favela at the East Las Vegas Community Center, so if you haven't seen them, come on by and check them out. On August 16th, we had the unveiling of the bust of Cesar Chavez at Chicanos por la Causa, and I was honored to attend the unveiling of the bust with other council members from North Las Vegas, like Councilwoman Ruth Garcia Anderson, and I was even more impressed that the sculptor is from my parents' home state in Mexico, Durango, Mexico. So it was really cool to see this bust and also remind our community about the legendary civil rights leader that Cesar Chavez was and how amazing of a movement it was to make sure that people had the wages and the quality of life and all of the things that working people deserve. So thank you so much to the organizers and Chicanos por la Causa for putting that on. In case you missed it, you can watch my latest Access City Council online or KCLV. We had Chief Jason Potts and also Captain Adam Seeley from Downtown Area Command with our LVMPD. And we just wanted to talk everything safety that we're doing with our partners in that space. So the city works very, very closely with these amazing gentlemen, and we're doing everything we can to move that needle in terms of public safety. What's coming up? We have our Grito event with our newly installed Mexican consul, Patricia Cortez Guadarrama, and also our Sheriff, Kevin McMahill. So it's a three-way joint effort, also with Telemundo Las Vegas, Fiesta 98.1, and we're going to be offering a community resource fair on Saturday, September 14th from noon to 4 p.m. at East Las Vegas Community Center, and I hope that you can all swing by and partake in the fun and very informational sessions. And lastly, we have on October 5th, the, I don't know what iteration, 24th iteration of our binational health fair this Saturday, October 5th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and it's a free health fair for everyone. So general screenings, blood pressure screenings, glucose checks, vision screenings, flu vaccines. We all need those coming into the fall, especially since our kids went back to school. So take note, you can come and get your vaccinations all up to date before your kids bring their viruses and share them with you. So again, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and it, let's see, I'm trying to look at the location. Oh, East Las Vegas Community Center, 250 Northeastern. So take a note, share it, and I hope to see everyone there. And as usual, you can stay in touch with me via all these methods. If you're old school, just call us, 702-229-2359. We're here for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Seaman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I was so happy to celebrate the years that Joyce Barrow Henderson gave to our parks and was happy to be at her retirement. And we are surely going to miss her and the work that she's done over the years. And then our August Ward 2 Breakfast Buzz, as usual, was so informing for the constituents of Ward 2. And we will be having another one in September if you missed that one. We're going to talk about the Veterans' 5th Annual Haircuts for the Homeless. I hope that people can come out and help with some supplies. And if you know how to cut hair, we'd love for you to join them. So we also have the Las Vegas 1013 Club Memorial for 9/11 coming up September 11th. And this year, because they're doing work in the police park, it will be at Ward 2 Bruce Trent Park. So we're really excited about that. And our next Breakfast Buzz and Ward 2 Biz will be held September 14th from 9 to 10 at the regular place we do it at Veterans Memorial on Pavilion Center Drive. Our second annual Breakfast of Heroes will be October 3rd, 7:30 to 9 a.m. right here at City Hall, up in the patio. And this year it will be Heroes for Hope Awards. Last year we did Heroes for Recovery, and we're going to be honoring Governor Joe Lombardo and Pastor Matthew Tice, Pastor Michael Hatch, Judge Harmony Letitia, and the DREAM program, those who started the program. So it's free. Breakfast will be served, so reserve your seat at Ward 2 at LasVegasNevada.gov. Our adopt-a pet is Jax, Doberman mixed breed male, about 67 pounds. He's 9 months. And then we have Ely, a domestic short hair female cat, about 6 pounds and 10 months old. If you're looking for a forever pet, please contact any rescue, Nevada SPCA for these animals or the animal shelter. And the Nevada SPCA, you can reach them at 702-873-7722 or info@nevadaspca.org. If you have a small business and you'd like to get the word out, you can contact us at 229-2420. We're happy to showcase your business on our social media. You can also email us at ward2@lasvegasnevada.gov. If you have any issues or concern in Ward 2, you can contact my office at that same email, or you can call us at 702-229-2420. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Bernie.
Thank you, Mayor. On August 8th, I hosted my monthly Bocaditos with Bruni, with our neighbors, where we discussed development projects, roadway and traffic concerns, pickleball, and back-to-school resources. On August 9th, I took part in the Summer Reading Challenge at the Centennial Hills Library. There were over 650 kids who completed the summer challenge who were able to slime me. The sliming wasn't actually that bad. The worst part was that I didn't bring a change of clothes, so I had to drive home. So my car got slimed too.
Oh, my.
Didn't even think about it. On August 13th, Team Bruni participated in the Metro's Homeless Comstat meeting, where we learned more about resources and efforts underway around the region to support our city's unhoused population. On August 14th, we hosted our quarterly small business breakfast to connect and collaborate with local Ward 6 small business owners. A very special thank you to our guest speakers, Dina Babsky, Deputy Economic and Urban Development Director, and Sarah Johnson, Director of the Lieutenant Governor's Office of Small Business Advocacy. And just mentioning barbers, Sarah shared that it takes one of the BDRs that the Lieutenant Governor is going to propose actually addresses licensing requirements. It takes, to become a barber and get a license, you have to log in like 1,600 hours, whereas to get your EMT license, you only have to log in 32 hours, and so there's a real disparity. So interesting BDRs. On August 16th, Team Bruni, in partnership with Councilwoman Frances Allen Polensky, provided lunch and some Q&A time to our police officers at the Northwest Area Command. Join us September 5th for our monthly Bocaditos with Bruni at our Centennial Hills Y office from 9 to 11. As we approach September, we know that 9/11 weighs on our nation's heart and mind. As a 9/11 remembrance, Just Serve is organizing a Community Day of Service Bash. Join us at Centennial Hill High School from 10 a.m. to noon, where we'll make welcome kits for our unhoused and refugee families who will be placed in their very first home. And on September 19th, we will be partnering with Councilman Alan Polensky to host our annual Principal Roundtable and dinner with the principals of the charter public and private schools in our wards. As always, if you have questions or concerns, please reach out to us at 702-229-5463 or email ward6@lasvegasnevada.gov.
Thank you. And last but not least, but the one who really hit the home run today, Councilwoman Frances Allen Bielanski, and saving those beautiful veteran statues that are housed downtown in the heart of our city, but represent not only our state, but the entire country. So thank you for that. A beautiful job done as usual. And so you close, please, today with our comments.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and most of my remarks have already been covered by Ward 2 and Ward 6, but I'll continue on. On Friday, Councilwoman Bruni and I hosted luncheon in Northwest Area Command. It was a great opportunity to spend some time with officers and staff and share some information about the future of the Northwest Valley. On Saturday, September 7th, there will be a Community Day Service Bash from 10 a.m. to 12 at Centennial High School in the cafeteria. During the event, welcome kits will be assembled for unhoused and refugee families. It's a great opportunity to serve the community, enjoy some snacks, and socialize with other civically minded folks. Please register, please scan the QR code on the slide. Next up, Saturday, September 7th, the Aviators will be playing against Round Rock Express at the Las Vegas Ballpark. All proceeds from ticket purchases on the QR code included on the slide will go to Nevada Child Seekers to help locate our missing children. Go out, enjoy a family fun evening, enjoy the baseball, enjoy the bat dog, and support a great cause all at the same time. Next, do you have a child between the ages of 12 or 17 who would like to get a fishing license? Thanks to a generous donation to Nevada Youth License Fund, a limited number of youth licenses are available for free. Scan the QR code on the slide and sign up for an account and get an electronic copy of your license today. And next, please enjoy the Las Vegas 1013 Club on Wednesday, September 11th from 11 to 1 to honor all those we lost on 9/11. It's been 23 years since that tragic day, and it will be forever etched in the memory of each of us. Due to renovations at Place Memorial Park, this year's event will take place in Ward 2 at Bruce Trent Park, located at 8851 Vegas Drive. And next, if you have any information regarding any of these 17 children featured on the slide, please call LVMPD's Missing Person Detail at 702-288-3111. And of course, at-risk youth or runaways, please call or visit the nationwide runaway safety hotline at 1-888-786-2929. There is always a bus ride home for you. And lastly, please stay connected with us on our social media platforms or contact us the old-fashioned way on the phone, 702-229-2524. We are always here to provide any assistance that we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And special thanks to all of our staff, our public information office that works so hard, recognizing everyone, our clerk's office that is diligent all the time, and certainly our leadership team administratively, all of you who sit so patiently as we blabber on up here or do whatever we're doing, and you're working and having to go through all of our little things. But we thank you all, and for our IT department that does record, and the public information, again, for keeping us all safe, and our marshals, everyone that's in service to this community. It's just, it's awesome as we look and listen to all of the TV ads that we all probably could stand up and say, this is my favorite one, and then repeat it absolutely verbatim, because you get one side, and then immediately following, you get the other side. And 20 minutes later, you get the other side, and then you get the first side. So it really is an interesting time, but each of us has an obligation to be thorough in what we're doing, listening to issues, and making sure, to our ability, we find out what are the important issues and what is not particularly germane to making a selection as to who's going to be leading this country for the next 4 years. And so do your due diligence as a registered, well, not registered, I am a nonpartisan for the past 20-plus years, and so very important that you listen to both sides and you hear the good that's there, the desire to help, or whatever. So with that, our next meeting is September 4? So you have a holiday coming, Labor Day. So we are giving everybody at City Hall Labor Day off, if that's all right with you. Yes, our city manager says okay. And stay safe, help somebody else, enjoy what goes on that's really good and wonderful. And with that, we are adjourned. Wonderful. Okay.